And so, my friends, when next the scent of island lavender falls gently on your breath, beware the searching spectral kiss. What? The Vectis kiss of death. Well, that set the tone for the evening. This poster, by the way, is my new poster. It used to say Atlantis Children's Books on the end, so I've very discreetly got rid of that bit because now it will be Medina Publishing. But that is my new poster. Fairly new. I know some of the kids on the island have got them already. But I have to say that amazing picture taken there was taken by a friend of mine at Ruckley, where we have a static caravan, and his name is Jerry Boothman, and he did a brilliant photograph, and he's right there. If you've got good eyes, you might see the Carisbrooke crow right on my shoulder. There. And if you can't see him there, try looking there. Okay. That picture is from the new book, Carisbrooke Castle, done by our brilliant artist and illustrator, Paul Bryn Davis, who you're going to hear quite a lot about this evening. And he's travelled all the way from Maidstone in Kent to be here. I'm so proud that Paul could make it. Carisbrooke Castle. Did I ever dream as a boy when I came to this island that one day I'd do a book launch in Carisbrooke Castle? No way. That little northern lad that came here with his mum and dad, I never dreamed I would be here doing a book launch. It's such a special place, Carisbrooke. In the actual book, some of you may know that every story has a little introduction that I wrote as to why I wanted to write that story, and a little bit about the location. And there is one in Carisbrooke Castle. It's called Don't Look Down. It's actually set in the well house where the donkey is that treads the great wheel. I'm just going to read you what I put in the introduction. Carisbrooke Castle has always been a source of interest to me. For one thing, far from being a ruin, it's a very complete castle. When first visiting as a child with my parents, I was fascinated by the winding stone stairways inside the turrets, the ancient stone-flagged chambers with their vast fireplaces, and the very high battlements, which I love walking around the top of. Even more fascinating was being able to visit the very bedroom where King Charles I, the ill-fated King Charles I, had slept as a prisoner. Twice he tried to escape at the end of the Civil War, but twice failed, eventually being taken to Whitehall to be executed on the 30th of January 1649. On top of all this was a visit to the castle's well house, and this unique place provides the setting for my story. So if you want to know more, read on. So that was my introduction to Carisbrooke. I can't believe I'm here. Now, I don't know how many of you actually believe in ghosts and supernatural and paranormal and all that stuff. I do. I don't see an awful lot myself, but I know an awful lot of people who do. And I've got a sister, an older sister. I've got two sisters, both younger than me. My elder of those two sisters is what you would call psychic. And she often sees people around that shouldn't be there, that we can't see, she can. She doesn't want to be like that, but she always has been. Now Mark's here, Mark Tuckey, who's an expert on this paranormal business on the island. I remember, Mark, you described people like my sister as sensitive. I love that word, sensitive. Some of us are not so sensitive, some of us are. My sister, being unwilling to be a sensitive, would we call her a sensitive? Or maybe hypersensitive. Well, I promise you, I'm not making this up. 2 weeks ago, my two sisters came over here for a holiday on the island, and Kath, my wife, and myself brought them to Carisbrooke. We went up that stair there to where the royal chamber is, and my sister turned to go in the bedroom and she said, "Oh, there's a man standing in the corner by the window." And I looked and there was no one there. She said, "I can see him quite clearly." I said, "What does he look like?" She said, "He's got long, curly black hair." She said, "He's got a little beard." He's got a big white blouse on shirt, spilling over his fairly tight. I said, well, it sounds like sort of, Charles I time. I said, what is he doing? She said, he's just smiling at people as they walk past, and he's just smiled at me as if to say, I know you can see me. And she went straight into the bedroom, and she walked around the bedroom, and she said, no, nothing in here. And then when she went out, she said, oh, he's still there. We came down the stairs and walked around the rest of the museum, and I said, just have one last look to see if he's there. So she had a last look, and there were, I promise you this is true, there were 4 Japanese tourists with cameras, all clicking around the entranceway, and she says, he's cleared off. So you see, even the supernatural don't like Japanese tourists with cameras. So anyway, I was inspired by my sister's experience to write a poem for you about that. Excuse me while I have a sip of water. And I'm going to read it to you. Here we go. I wrote this especially for the book launch, especially for tonight. There is a ghost within these castle walls that wanders through the passageways and halls. Round the corner, up the stair, you might just see him standing there. He watches for the eye that sees the pain etched on his pallid face. Imprisoned here forevermore, trapped in timelessness and space. His sin, to try to save the cursed king, to save him from his cursed fate. Whitehall execution, his head spiked and on display in Traitor's Gate. Alas, this loyal servant failed. The king continued to be jailed here at Carisbrooke. And now that king is long since dead, his mortal body separated from his mortal head. His loyal servant's penance, worse than all, trapped here forever within these castle walls. Around that corner, up the stair, you might just see him standing there.